So I tweeted out at some point before last Sunday about how my position, which I've said a billion times on stream, how non-binary pronouns just reinforce gender stereotypes and are anti-liberal and are neo-Marxist and blah blah blah. You've all heard that a million times. Jangles not only, in my opinion, pretended not to understand the argument, but instead of just asking me what I meant by it, decided to retweet it and pretend like he could read my mind and say, no, the real reason you're against non-binary genders is because you just want everyone to conform to gender stereotypes because you're a big old bigot.
As if we haven't been against gender stereotypes for as long as we've done the fucking show.
I know. It's not like we've had literally a debate about this exact issue where we were both against gender prescriptions. I'm like, what the Jangles? Here I am defending you, and you fucking stab me in the back.
Yeah.
Why do I bother? Why do I bother? Anyway, on Sunday, we talked about briefly at the end of Sunday, if you made it to the end, about how Jangles, jangling Jangles, right, apparently for the last 7 months, if you remember, we watched his video debates with James Lindsay, an actual justice warrior. And then he and LSP were very unsatisfied with our commentary.
Yes,
they were that debate, and so we ended up talking to them in person, which I thought I BTFO'd him, but I thought that we were nice, and I thought the conversation went well for the most part.
You were nice. I was not nice.
That's true. I thought I was nice, but for some reason, I get all the hate. Usually, you're supposed to be the magnet for hate.
They know I don't give a fuck. They're like,
I'm the good cop here. Okay?
They know I don't care.
That must be it. But so I tweeted out at some point before last Sunday about how my position, which I've said a billion times on stream, how non-binary pronouns just reinforce gender stereotypes and are anti-liberal and are neo-Marxist and blah blah blah. You've all heard that a million times. Jangles, instead of asking me what I meant by that, because he, pretends like he doesn't understand the argument, which I think is bullshit because this is a very common argument. ContraPoints has made this same fucking argument in the past. But Jangles not only, in my opinion, pretended not to understand the argument, but instead of just asking me what I meant by it, decided to retweet it and pretend like he could read my mind and say, no, the real reason you're against non-binary genders is because you just want everyone to conform to gender stereotypes because you're a big old bigot. Sitch.
As if we haven't been against gender stereotypes for as long as we've done the fucking show.
I know. It's not like we've had literally a debate about this exact issue where we were both against gender prescriptions, being levied in society. But so anyway, I call Jangles out. I call him a fucking asshole for thinking he can read my mind. And of course, because I have such wonderful fans, my tweet did significantly better than his tweet. So he got butthurt about the whole thing. And so then he tried to be like, oh, Sitch, you're the bad-faced liar. You lied about this our debate from 7 months ago that I had with James Lindsay. I've been seething this whole time. You lied. And you said that I said that Jim Crow was colorblind, and I never said that. That would be so preposterous to say something like that. And then he linked to where I said this claim. So I decided to go, and I said I was going to do this on Sunday. I said we'd do it for today, to go back and look to see what Jangles actually said and see what we actually said. And I'll let you, the audience, you can decide whether you think and that's not a bad thing. Dishonest in how we were categorizing what Jangles said or not. Okay, we'll let you decide.
All right, I brought up the tweet. Here it is. Here it is.
Give me a count and we'll watch it. Okay, the first, we play just Jangles talking on his own, and then we play our commentary. So
okay, here it is. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ideas, and that's not a bad thing. It's good to take a critical eye to certain positions. Like there are problems with colorblind laws. Like there's a lot of examples in history where there was a colorblind application of law that nonetheless had a very, very bad disparate outcome between racial groups. Like for example, for a lot of the Jim Crow laws, they treated the races equally because you had to stay on your side of the line no matter what race you were. And that's not treating races differently, but obviously the effect of that was to deny black people the opportunities, the economic opportunities, the housing opportunities that would actually get them a life that could be considered in any way an equal opportunity.
In what year did that become illegal?
The Jim Crow law, they treated the races equally because you had to stay on your side of the line no matter what race you were. And that's not treating races differently, but obviously the effect of that was to deny black people the opportunity.
Wait a minute. Did he just say Jim Crow, separate but equal, is colorblind?
Laws, they treat examples in history where there was a colorblind application of law that nonetheless had a very, very bad disparate outcome between racial groups. Like, for example, for a lot of the Jim Crow laws, they treated the races equally because you had to stay on your side of the line no matter what race you were.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's ridiculous.
Jangles knows what the fuck the word colorblind means. Okay. How the fuck could a law that it makes explicit prescriptions about how someone should be treated based on their race be a colorblind law?
Yeah.
Definitionally, yeah. Jangles. Come on. What the fuck are you talking about?
He just tried to say that like blacks in the back of the bus was colorblind.
Yes. How that's insane. What are you talking about?
Totally insane.
Give me a break here.
He's saying segregation. Totally colorblind.
If the law says people of X color have to do Y, that means it's not colorblind by fucking definition.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not treating races differently, but obviously the effect of that was to deny black people the opportunities, the economic opportunities. He
just said separate but equal is not treating races differently.
Yeah, he also said Jim Crow was, according to him, basically the civil rights.
Jesus.
Housing opportunities that would actually get them.
See, tell me this isn't fucking full bullshit. Okay, that's a solid fucking joke there. That Jim Crow's basically civil rights is a solid joke. I'm standing by it.
Yeah, so now he's like, it's the weird argument he's trying to make. He's like, you were trying to make it to sound like your audience that I actually supported Jim Crow. And I'm like, right. What? No. We're mocking how insane your position is that you're trying to say Jim Crow laws were colorblind. To which he was trying to say, oh, I never said that. What?
Wait a second here. So is he in favor of blindness or not? Because if you hate color blindness and you're saying Jim Crow is bad, because you're saying Jim Crow is colorblind is bad, therefore both Jim Crow and colorblind are bad.
Right. His argument, which the CRT people have made, repeatedly, is that colorblindness is bad. And you can have all these colorblind laws that are really racist. And so to build on that, he's trying to equate colorblindness with Jim Crow laws. And it's a nonsensical example. I don't even think the CRT people use that as an example because it's so stupid. He uses a different example later in the debate, which I remember at some point we ended up debunking because even though the law was technically colorblind, the judge threw it out because they said, it was racist and not colorblind.
Go ahead.
So he's just trying to say colorblind bad, Jim Crow is bad, Jim Crow colorblind, thus, that proves colorblind bad. That's the argument he's trying to
make.
And that's an insane argument to make because Jim Crow is the exact opposite of a colorblind law. Saying that black people have to be separated from white people intrinsically, definitionally cannot be colorblind.
Correct. Yeah. But he's now saying that we're trying to say that he thinks Jim Crow was good and he's in favor of Jim Crow.
Right.
Like, how is any of that saying that?
We didn't say anything like that.
How is anything like that?
I don't know. This is totally fucking crazy.
Okay, I responded to him because I said Jangles hates Jim Crow because Jim Crow is colorblind and Jangles hates colorblind policies. And then, of course, I had to add a joke and I said, of course, most people just hate Jim Crow because it's racist as fuck.
Yes,
right? Yes. And he got upset about that, saying,
I know.
Giving me the old good faith razzle dazzle as if, I guess making jokes is not good faith now, but hold on. Is that incorrect? He doesn't say this is incorrect or not.
This is what I think. Well, this is why it's ridiculous. First of all, to my, let's see. There was because it got retweeted by him and me, there's like a million replies to it, and it's like impossible to
No,
dig
I
through that shit.
know.
So I never even saw Jangles even ask me what I meant in my original tweet. He just immediately jumped to trying to mind read me. And now I see he's arguing with some other random person in Twitter about what I said and what I really meant without asking me what I meant.
Right. So I
And then
said
with this, with this, well, I was just say, and so when I called him bad faith, he just like desperately scurrying around for like, oh, no, you're bad faith. And he brings up this piss poor example. And I think he realized when I made that clip compilation that we just watched how what he said was really stupid and doesn't make any sense because he hasn't really directly responded to anything I said about it.
Right. Yeah.
He just sort of like makes vague comments and responds to all the other people replying to it. He doesn't respond to what I said at all.
Oh, look. This response is so good. So I said, if you want to make your position clear, I'm sure everyone will be happy, right? That's all we want. Like, stop.
Right.
And then dialogue always came in and was trying to basically simping for Jangles. Saying, we're completely misrepresenting Jangles. And I'm like, bitch, you can't read minds either. You don't know if Jangles is lying his fucking ass off or not. Don't come in here and tell me Jangles is telling the truth. You don't know what's going on here.
Yes.
So I just want Jangles could come in at any moment and make his position crystal clear, right?
Right.
The world has not come to an end. So it looks like
he can't. He can't make his position clear because what he said was wrong.
Well, I know, but he's attempting to. Here, let me read. Did you see this response? Because he did respond to me.
No, what was the response?
He says, Sitch, when I say dripping with sarcasm that Jim Crow laws treated the races equally because everyone had to stay on their side of the line. So he's doing a fucking Trump here. He's saying, I was being sarcastic. That was a joke. And then immediately follow up by saying they obviously did treat them differently. I'm highlighting the absurdity of that claim.
Yeah, okay, but oh my God. So I said, Jangles, I understand you're not in favor of Jim Crow laws. Okay. Nobody thought that when we were watching the stupid clip or the debate.
Right.
That wasn't what we were mocking you for. We were mocking you for pretending that that Jim Crow is an example of colorblind application.
Right.
Okay. That's what we're commenting on. And he's trying to, because he knows he's wrong on that or something. This is what I think happened. I think Jangles saw the clip originally, completely misinterpreted what we said and how we were reacting to it. And he constructed a narrative. This is I'm going to mind read. This is my guess. Okay. And he's been sitting on this misconstruction of what he thought we said for 7 months, even though we talked to him in person. And I thought we hashed some of this out. I don't remember exactly because it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, you were really nice.
Right. But then when I finally looked at whatever he was whining about and created the little clip compilation, he realized that no, his interpretation of what he thought we said was wrong from the beginning, and that we were actually criticizing correctly his assertion that Jim Crow was colorblind. So now he's trying to kind of like not respond to that and pretend like we were saying something else. That's what I think is happening here in this interaction.
But this still doesn't make sense because when I say dripping with, so he's saying, when I say sarcastically, Jim Crow laws treated the races equally because everyone had to stay on their side of the line. He's saying that he didn't actually mean that. He's saying he's rewriting the clip that we just saw.
Yes.
Which seems like he's saying the same thing. And this is the same argument that the anti-gay marriage people will make. They will say, listen, marriage is between a man and a woman. That treats everyone equally. You can marry a woman or a man. Gay people can marry the opposite sex. Just everyone has the same opportunity open up to them, right?
Right.
That's basically the argument that he's saying.
Yes,
He's saying, you have your opportunity to sit in the back of the bus, and they have their opportunity to sit in the front of the bus.
What he's saying is, the reason he said like, oh, it's treating them the same, was that he was trying to again relate it to that, like, oh, see, it's really colorblind because it's at least in theory, was supposed to be treating them the same, but equally, which
yes.
it has nothing to do with colorblindness at all. And I don't even know why he thinks it does, but that's the argument he's trying to make. And I think he realizes it's such a dumb argument, but that now you're right. He's trying to be like, oh, I was being sarcastic when I was saying that. It's like, well, no, you weren't being sarcastic. We understand that you don't agree that it's moral or that it really is treating people the same, but that you were saying that was like the wording strictly of the laws was supposed to be that in order to, appear to be colorblind. That was your argument, Jangles. It was a bad argument then. It's a bad argument now. You just had to eat it. It's just say, yeah, it was a bad argument, Sitch. I shouldn't have. It's a stupid thing to say. Okay. And then move on with your life. And it's so weird because he brought this up. I had forgot about this interaction completely. And he brought this up to try to like own me. And I'm like, you just look like a moron, Jangles. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are we supposed to watch that clip and think that he is saying that Jim Crow laws were not colorblind? Because his whole argument rests on,
yes,
like the whole argument is about how blindness can lead to bad outcomes. And then he uses Jim Crow as an example of that. Yes. So now he's saying, no, he's being sarcastic about Jim Crow not being colorblind.
Right. You're right when he was like, he's pulling the Trump bleach comment. He was just joking. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the last part of so I don't know if we'll talk to Jangles. LSP a couple of days ago had, DM me to say that he wanted to talk to us about it. I never responded because I was like, on one hand, I do want to talk.
I blocked LSP just so
you know.
I
do want to talk to them about it because they're so stupid. Like this is such a slam dunk conversation.
Yeah.
So, but at first I was kind of just like, oh, I don't like this idea of like, oh, I'm going to shit on you and then bait you into a conversation. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to respond to this. But now I'm like, yes, 100%, talk to Jangles or LSP or whoever about this stupid thing. I don't know if they will anymore, but I'll respond and I'll see.
Let's back it up. Let's listen to this tweet one more time, your clip thing, because I want to listen to it in the Jangles is just being sarcastic frame of mind.
Do you want to just listen to Jangles part
just
in the beginning?
Just the beginning, yeah, just the beginning. Ready? Okay, so keep in mind, Jangles is saying that he's being sarcastic here, and that he's saying that it's absurd to think that staying on your side of the line is equal.
But he's not saying that it is.
Right.
Not that it is. Yeah.
Well, he's saying that comment to point out how absurd it is to think that this is fair.
Right.
Right.
That it's, okay. Anyway.
Jangles knows that it's unfair. Right. And he's pointing it out to say, this is absurd to think this is fair. Sarcasm. Right. We all know how it works. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Ideas. And that's not a bad thing. It's good to take a critical eye to certain positions. Like there are problems with colorblind laws. Like there's a lot of examples in history where there was a colorblind application of law that nonetheless had a very, very bad disparate outcome between racial groups. Like for example, for a lot of the Jim Crow laws, they treated the races equally because you had to stay on your side of the line no matter what race you were. And that's not treating races differently. But obviously the effect of that was to deny black people the opportunities, the economic opportunities, the housing opportunities that would actually.
So he literally says that's not treating races differently.
Right.
He literally says staying on your side of the line.
He was being sarcastic. Okay, you don't understand. He was being sarcastic and thus defeating his previous argument. I like that he literally says colorblindness. If you watch the whole, the longer clip, he's talking. He's responding specifically to James Lindsay and talking about colorblindness. And as he said an example of colorblindness not working or being bad is Jim Crow.
Right. Yeah, no, he uses an example.
Right.
He says,
colorblind
sarcastic. Laws can lead to bad outcomes.
Right. So him being sarcastic is insane.
Yeah. This is what you call dishonesty.
Yes. Yes.
This is so dishonest.
I know.
All because you're worried. All because you don't want to say, "Oh yeah, that was." I mean, I drank too much the night before, and I was on I don't know what I was saying. I totally got it wrong there. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about just jumping on your YouTube channel and say, listen, I'm a fucking moron, okay?
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, so actually I did respond. So Jangle said, okay, let me read. I said, are you guys morons? You were mocking the absurdity of the claim. Everyone watching understood. I can't believe you guys have been seething about this for the last 6 months. Okay.
Oh, you
So Jangle
responded
says,
to this interaction?
I did, and he never responded back, which tells you something. He says, Sitch, when I say, dripping with sarcasm, that Jim Crow laws treated the races equally because everyone had to stay on their side of the line, and then immediately follow that up by saying they obviously didn't treat them differently, I'm highlighting the absurdity of that claim. Okay, that's not
that's one
that
tweet.
no one's that's not contesting the Jangle. When you then said that I made the claim that Jim Crow treated the races equally, you have to ignore both everything said before and after that, as well as the tone in which it was delivered. My argument was about how supposedly race-neutral laws on paper are very often and deliberately used in discriminatory fashion. Literally, the entire point was how races were not treated equally in spite of what the law claimed. There's no honest interpretation of what I said that would lead to Jim Crow is basically civil rights.
Well, first of all, I never said Jim Crow was basically civil rights. I said that was definitely sarcastically.
Yeah, so he's complaining that we can't read his sarcasm when he can't read your sarcasm.
Right.
Okay.
I'm saying that you're saying Jim Crow is bad because it was colorblind and still created racist outcomes. And I'm saying bullshit. Jim Crow was not colorblind. Jim Crow is just racist.
Right. And so, but here's a common technique you'll see on Twitter and other things where someone is wrong and they kind of know they're wrong. So they just keep reframing or rephrasing what they're saying to make it longer. So it's harder to determine whether they're
it's
wrong
like
or
3
not.
tweets. Jesus.
Right. So he says, because remember, my original argument was you saying Jim Crow is colorblind is stupid. That was my original point. Okay?
Right.
Then Jangles responds by saying, my argument was how supposedly race-neutral laws on paper, colorblind, are very often and deliberately used in a discriminatory fashion. Yes, Jangles, I understand that. And you claim that Jim Crow was an example of that. Dumb fuck.
Yeah, totally.
So he keeps restating his argument in slightly different ways instead of actually backing it up or addressing anything. So I responded by saying, Jangles, I understood that you were, quote, attempting to make the argument that laws were written in a colorblind fashion, but can still be discriminatory. It's a common CRT argument. However, trying to use Jim Crow as an example of this as an utter fail, and that's what we were making fun of.
Correct. Yeah.
No
That's
response.
exactly what we're making fun of.
No response to that.
And this is what I was going around and around with Dialogue Always on. Yes. Look, you got to understand. You guys are morons. We're smart. Okay. We can separate the idea of the concept from the implementation of the concept. That's what we're asking you to do. We're saying, listen, we understand that you can write a law that appears to be colorblind, but is not. It's called fake colorblind, right? And if you want to shove Jim Crow into this fucking fake colorblind box, I don't think it's a particularly good example. But sure, you keep shoving. You get that fucking in there in that box, right? It still does not do away with the concept of colorblindness, because at the end of the day, you're going to say, you know, color blindness is a principle that we want to, it's an aspirational principle that we would like to achieve. We would like to not judge people on their race and give everyone the same opportunity regardless of race. That's what colorblind means. And when you write laws that are attempting to be colorblind, that's the aspiration that you're trying to aspire to, right? All this makes sense. It's pretty clear.
Yes. So I guess the last thing to say about this, the last thing I have to say about this is that I want to give a big no thank you. A big no thanks to, what's his name? Oh, God, where is it? Here it is. To Cheeseballin. Okay, Cheeseballin, if you're listening, please, for the love of God, Cheeseballin, stop roping dishonest always into these conversations, please. The fucking worst thing ever. Cheeseballing, I appreciate you taking my side on this. I really do. But He tags dishonesty always into this, drags dishonesty always into this. Who first of all is like crying like, oh, you're the one that brought me into this. But then he responds to like 100 different comments on the thread. Okay, my mentions were all when this drama was unfolding. My mentions were blowing up with dishonesty always arguing with Cheese Ballin and a million other people. And I said, okay.
First of all,
I don't want to
stop calling him dishonesty always.
No,
okay?
I will not.
You can't.
I will fucking not. And I'm gonna prove it.
I will approve of systemic dishonesty always, but I don't.
What about dumb fuck always?
I don't think.
Dumb fuck always. Is that okay? Is that better? What about ding dong always?
You call him whatever you want, okay? I'm just saying. I
Dingleberry
want it
always.
on the record that I think now you got me saying. I think Dialogue Always is an honest actor. I think he's an honest actor. I just think he's not. He's
okay. But
he's
wait,
drank the Kool-Aid. He's systemically dishonest.
No, okay. Here's the thing. He had the perfect example of his dishonesty, which I'll get into in a second. But I said, okay, I, for the love of God, have no interest in getting into some. He was supposed to come on and he couldn't, and that's fine. Whatever. If he doesn't want to come on anymore, I don't give a shit. But I'm not interested in getting into some overly long Twitter argument with him because he has the exact same tactic where he will try to be. He puts on this fake nice guy act where he'll go through your argument. And then when he loses the argument, he starts twisting all the words around.
I know.
Try to be like,
terrible.
no, well, actually, this is what is going on. And you're like, okay, you're just fucking gaslighting me. I don't know what the fuck is happening in this conversation. This is all the CRT conversations. I would make a claim. He would say that's not true. I would literally put the picture of the page from the CRT book that says what I'm saying. And then he would just try to gaslight everything. You just try to completely gaslight me. And so for the first 24 hours of him blowing up my mentions with this stupid conversation, I ignore him. But then 24 hours later, he's still whining on Twitter about me to other people. He's still going, Sitch said this, Sitch is a liar this, Sitch is a bad fake this. And he keeps calling me a liar, 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 which is hilarious because he's just saying it because I started calling him a liar. So now he's like, no.
You literally named him dishonesty always.
I know, but that's the thing. So he's just pulling out his Uno reverse card no, you're the dishonest.
Sooner or later, you guys got to put the guns down.
No. I have a
tweet.
I was whistling Dixie here, minding my own fucking business, and he's the one. Okay.
He's changed his screen name to Lessons Learned, which I honestly don't think he's learned any lessons.
Yeah, he's learned how to be dishonest.
Okay.
There you go. That's hilarious. It's gotten so under his skin, I guess, that he's literally changed his name.
So I have a tweet here from 10 minutes ago. So he's just responded. He's just weighed in on the Jangles controversy. Mm-hmm. And he says, I'm not reading minds. Earlier I said, I accused him of, reading Jangles' mind, of assuming good faith on Jangles' part when he doesn't know if Jangles is lying. And he says, I'm not reading minds. He actually made my case here. And I said the same thing in our conversation. And he's retweeted the tweet that we just went over where we laid out that Jangles is just a big fat liar. There's no way he was being sarcastic in this conversation.
No.
It doesn't even make sense to be sarcastic because why would you make an argument and say, a good example of this is something that's not a good example of this, and let me just be sarcastic about it so this is a terrible example.
Right.
Who argues like that?
He's hiding behind the fact that what he means when he says he's being sarcastic is that he doesn't think Jim Crow laws are equal, which is fine because we all know that he doesn't think that.
Yeah, none of us
Nobody fucking thinks that.
Yeah, none of us said that you thought Jim Crow was a good idea.
Yes, but that's okay. So anyway, just this is why I call him dishonesty always. Okay. So Matt MacGyver, who's been arguing with dishonesty always as well, said he asked dishonesty always. He says, "Are Jim Crow laws colorblind?" That's all it says. One sentence. Are Jim Crow laws colorblind? And lessons learned. Dishonesty always says, no, Jangles never said they were. He says this. Okay, this is the super long tweet thread. Well, actually, no, this isn't the super long tweet thread under the video, but this is from the previous tweet. So I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I linked the clip. I'm like, that's exactly what he says. That's what the entire conversation is. And I mock him saying, you're over here weighing in, calling me dishonest, accusing me of all this bad faith. You couldn't even watch the 30-second clip that we're talking about, where he literally says that. Okay. So you know what dishonesty always response is? Can you fucking guess what his response is?
No, but I'm glad you're going to tell us.
Do you think he says, oh, I guess I was mistaken. That was pretty foolish of Jangles to say.
No, he starts backing Jangles up.
No, of course not. Then he changes his argument, suddenly tries to pretend that certain Jim Crow laws were actually, in fact, colorblind. And tries to pretend like he never said that he never made his original
claim. You're right. He did. Yes.
But here's the thing, and I'm watching this, and this is why you guys got to be fucking careful. Everyone else on the Twitter replies got sucked into his next argument.
Right.
Arguing whether Jim Crow laws were colorblind or not. But not Sitch, because that's not what the fucking argument is. The argument is you claimed Jangles never said they were colorblind, you fuck. And now that you've been caught out that he did, you're changing the argument.
Yeah, I said you're trying to argue in favor that they were colorblind.
Yes, you've completely changed. So I said, whoa. So I grabbed that little thread and I pulled him back. And I said, wait a minute. You originally claimed that Jangles never said Jim Crow laws were colorblind. What the fuck? Now you're arguing the opposite. And this is what his answer is. He says, Jangles didn't say Jim Crow laws were colorblind. He says they were applied in a colorblind way.
What the fuck? They were the opposite of that. That's no. This is ridiculous. We got to stop having these conversations.
This is why I call him dishonesty always. Like, what the? And I said, this is my response. I said, this is why you are a dishonest fuck. There's absolutely no conceptual difference between saying Jim Crow was colorblind and Jim Crow laws were applied in a colorblind fashion. There's zero difference, and it's not even true. And Jangles didn't even give this fucking pathetic defense himself. So
yeah.
Fuck off. Okay.
Yes. Jangles came out and said, obviously, Jim Crow was not colorblind, and I was just being sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because it does mirror the Scott Adams Trump situation, where like Scott Adams is dishonesty always like really trying hard to like construct some like convoluted defense, and then Jangles doesn't even use it. So
yeah, totally.
So,
oh my god!
This is why I call him dishonesty always, because that tactic, that's the same tactic that because originally I would get into long arguments with him, and I would be very nice, as I usually am to most people who don't like attack me on Twitter. And I got to the point where he was just gaslighting me. He would just try to twist all the language around to be like, no. It's funny. People complain about James Lindsay or Jordan Peterson using language in weird ways. This fucking guy will always just hook onto some word and say, no, this word actually means like something completely different that you don't understand. You don't understand what the word applied means. So this is why I call him dishonesty always. Fuck it. Fuck him. If he wants to talk, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But he's a fucking liar. You can't
escape the fact that he's just nice as can be though on stream. So I'm with you. If he comes on stream, he takes the fight right out of you. He's not so
well. See, but here's the thing. So his big move now is to say that I'm the one who's dishonest, and I'm like, what am I dishonest about? How am I lying? And his example that he keeps bringing up about how I'm a liar is because I can be mean to people on Twitter or mean to someone like Jangles when we're watching the video. But then when I talk to them in person, I'm much nicer. So that means that I'm a liar because I engage with normal social human interaction skills. Oh my God.
That's so wrong. That's so wrong.
It's so stupid. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course. You mean I'm a normal human being?
Yes, of course. Look,
and then he's like,
our whole show is talking shit about people.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but listen, we're going to watch a long video of someone, okay? And we're going to get animated. We're going to get energized, okay, watching the debate. Obviously, if I talk to them in person, I'm going to try at least at first. I'm not going to start at 10. Maybe it'll end at 10. We've definitely had conversations that end up at 10. But I'm not going to start at 10. I'm going to start at level 1 because I'm a normal human being. I'm not going to start off with guns fucking flamethrower blazing here. And then his argument is, oh, well, you're a hypocrite because you complain about Vosh doing the same thing. Like, what? No, we specifically complain that Vosh is a liar. He will go onto platforms that are much larger than his or with audiences he thinks he can poach. And he'll like try to specifically construct his arguments in ways that he thinks will be appealing to them. And he'll put on this nice guy act. And then he'll go back to his stream and he'll shit talk them and be fucking an asshole. And if he's talking to someone who he disagrees with, who has a smaller platform than him, he won't be nice to them. He'll try to destroy them. And that's what makes him a hypocrite. And we saw this is how he was on Tim Pool. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I explained this all to him, to Dishonesty Always, but he's dishonest always, so he doesn't care. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. But I think that's the end of the drama. I don't think I'm going to interact with him anymore. So
who?
Dishonesty Always.
Oh, okay. I mean,
on Twitter.
If he wants to come on, he can. But
yeah, I'm not going to interact with him on Twitter anymore. If he wants to come on and get his ass
just
utterly blown the fuck out, then he can.
Just block him. To see
I
that,
had muted him for a while, but he kept fucking like responding to me. I was just like, you know, whenever you mute someone, it says like, this person's been muted.
I don't.
You know, like, oh my God.
I don't like to block people, but sometimes you have to because they're just incapable of being honest about you. Like that LSP guy called me like Mr. throwing gays off rooftop apologist. And I'm like, when did I when did I apologize? When did I say that, you know, that kind of behavior was acceptable? I don't remember that. Sitch, was that my argument at any given time?
What that's in reference. I don't even know what that's reference to.
So I pointed this out. I'm like, well, now you're just lying. And he's legitimately thinks that's like my argument or something. I'm going, what the fuck? This is insane.
Ladendorf said Vosh pulled that trick on Lilith Lovett. Oh, really? He's really nice to her and then just fucking like shit talked her the second she left or something? That's
I mean,
crazy.
a certain amount of that is unavoidable, kind of. I mean, I try to be conscious of it, and Sitch is way better than me as far as like, Sitch has been kind of giving Jangles the benefit of the doubt when he comes up, and I just am
that's why
completely
it's so
savage.
Crazy. Because like you were the one that's always like Jangles just doesn't believe what he's saying. He's just arguing. And I was one that's always like, no. I think he actually believes this stuff. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then out of the fucking blue, he attacks me like this out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck, Jangles? Here I am defending you, and you fucking stab me in the back.
Yeah.
Why do I bother? Why do I bother?
Get used to it. That's YouTube. You just figured it out. He's like, I'm having a slow week here. I need someone I can attack. Who's out? Oh, I know. Look, Sitch and Adam have a pretty big show. Maybe I can trick them into inviting me on.
There you go. Maybe.
Maybe attack the shit out of them.
That was it.
Maybe he was in your DMs like 5 minutes later. Oh, maybe we could come on the Sunday show. Well, we may have an opening on Tuesday.
Like 5 minutes later, like, oh, come on.
Maybe we have a spot on Tuesday. No, Sunday's better for me. Don't you have a big show on Sunday?
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have them on. I think we're talking to someone else next Tuesday. Maybe next Tuesday we'll have them on.
Christian Riley's coming on, I believe, next Tuesday. Okay. We had an opening because lessons learned. Lozar won. Yeah. Dialogue Always dropped out, but he said he wanted to reschedule. So, and he likes me now. So fuck you. I mean, I'm in good graces. Why you make fun of my friends?
You don't understand. He's trying. This is again part of the dishonesty. Because at first he didn't like you and he liked me, and now he's reversed the situation.
Right, because you call him dishonesty always.
Because but he's trying. This is his tactic. He's trying to drive. This is so hilarious to see someone do this. He's trying to drive some wedge between us because now he's appealing to you like, Adam, do you see how Sitch is being so dishonest and mean to me on Twitter?
I told him straight up when he came on my stream. I said, listen, Sitch is my number one. Okay, there's no way.
That's why it's so funny to see him try to do this.
I was like, I'm like, we can't, if you're going to be bad mouthing Sitch, we can't be friends, dude. I'm like, please. Just knock it off. He did. I mean, on stream, he was very cool about it. He was like, yeah, we can bury the hatchet with Sitch. Just he says things that get under my skin, but we'll probably get over it. That's what he said, but now it's like he's gone in the other direction. Let me see here if I got some super chats. Obviously, Sitch fell in a hole over there. He's like, Adam's going to be talking for a long time. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adam show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.